Hey up. So what's a DI box for then? Well, I'll tell you. A DI box is a little fella like this that allows you to split up the signal from any 1/4 inch jack to XLR. The 1/4 inch is on the front and the XLR is on the back. This is a passive DI box, which means it doesn't take any batteries, but you can get active DI boxes that you just put a little battery in there. So how do you use a DI box? Well, most people use these for bass guitar, and they go via this little box into a PA system and an amp. So you take your bass guitar and you plug it into the input section on here. The input through, plug another cable into that, and that goes to your bass amp. On the back of the DI box there's an XLR cable, and that can go into the desk for the front of house sound or into the PA system. You can use something like this, which is a XLR splitter. That can go into the output of the DI box, and one of these can go into the desk and another one can go into a recording device. But you'll still be connected via this to a bass amp, and you can mic the bass amp up too. So lots of options with one of these. Let me take you through the buttons on the back. If you're micing up a bass amp as well as going through a DI box, there's a little handy gadget on the back. It's called the phase button, and if you're noticing that the bass through the PA system doesn't really sound that fantastic in the bottom end just really isn't there. It might be because you've got phase cancelling going on between the microphone and the dry signal through the DI box. So if you press the phase button, that'll invert the waveform, and that should get rid of any problems. There shouldn't be as much phase cancelling. You could faff around with the distance from the microphone to the cab. That might help, or you can just press that little button on there. You've also got a ground lift on there, a ground lift button, and that might help if there's any sort of buzzing or humming going off. On the front of the DI box you have 2 attenuator buttons that take down the gain by 20 dB. That might be useful if you're using this DI box connected to a sub-kick. For instance, the sub-kick power, because it's going from a dry speaker basically. A sub-kick is a speaker cone turned into a microphone. There's a lot of power going through the diaphragm of the speaker cone, and that gets transmitted down the cable into this and into your recording device. So it's going to be too hot a signal for the recording device. So if you press the attenuator button, that'll knock down the signal by 20 dB, and there's 2 on here. So you can knock it down by 40 dB and then it's probably usable. You've also got a filter on there too. I'm not too sure what it does on this one, but I'm assuming that'll get rid of noise of some kind. It might be low frequency filter, or it might be a high frequency filter. I'm not too sure, but it's probably just a shelving filter, which cuts off the high frequencies or cuts off the low frequencies. The DI box that I've got here is an Art Accessories Z Direct Professional Passive Direct Box.